Test. 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 Okay, so this is working. Okay, so this is working. Okay, so this is working. Feeling blood. Can you hear me okay?
Hello, guys. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Glad, can you check on YouTube that the sound's going for all right for me?
I'm checking at the moment.
Thanks very much. You're a star.
Problem. Thanks. Yeah, everything is perfect.
Okay,
Good to go.
Let's wait 5 minutes, people, if anybody wants to join in. Evening, Conspired Potato. Evening, Otto, sorry. Misha. How's everybody going?
Everybody would like to hear how you're doing, William.
Great. Right, before we start the stream tonight, we're going to be going over David Tech setups for bots, static bots as well. So based on somebody else's strategy. So if anybody has any open source strategy they want to share and would like to see how to be set up, feel free just to put it in the chat and I'll check it through for the second part of the evening. And third and last part of the evening will be question and answers. Just filling up a bottle of water to be on the evening, David.
Be there in 2 seconds.
I was hoping to get away without the boss being here tonight.
I'm always watching you.
Damn. Just wait about 2 minutes and Austin, we shall start. Good thing. It starts 8 o'clock on the dot. Right, good evening to anybody that I haven't seen already. I think I've said hello to everybody inside of the Discord. Tonight we're going to be going over, like I said a minute ago, David Tech setup strategies, checking that Bybit accounts are set up correctly to be able to start trading as on your first trigger. And then Austin will go through static bot and so other setting bots, so for other strategies. And finally, we'll end up we'll end the evening with a question and answers. And if anybody's got having any issues or anything, we can go through that afterwards, no problem. So part of the team, as usual, we've got David, which is the founder of David Tech. We've got Vlad, community manager, and myself, community manager and project manager of Trigger.Trade. So if you need any support anytime, you can feel free to DM over to me, no problem for Trigger.Trade. Also on the website of Trigger.Trade in the back end, you can also book an appointment if you want a one-on-one show. I see a couple of people inside the Discord group this evening have already been part of that, but feel free if you need a second chance set up or anything like that, you want to go step by step or go in depth on how bots work, feel free to book a schedule with us, no problem. So what we offer Trigger.Trade, we offer a setup for bot services to connect to crypto exchanges like Bybit, Binance, and a few others which will be coming soon. We've got a API encryptor which enables an extra layer of security, because since your APIs aren't stored on our website, but they will be visible inside of TradingView, just to keep your APIs secure for in case the computer is left open to public or family members, etc. That way, at least, then you can cover your APIs security via that. We have a Telegram bot which enables to receive notifications on your mobile phone based on error alerts, successful trades, or just notifications only, in case for more of the manual traders, if you don't want to set up bots and you prefer manually setting up or backtesting a strategy before actually going live with it, it will send you an indication of when the potential trade could open and when it would close, which we're going to see over in a minute. Here's just an example of what the Telegram messages look like. So you've got, like I said a second ago, you've got the entered parts, you've got a debug report if things are missing or aren't set properly based on settings, like if you've got an entry with only one TP, which potentially has got a multiple take profit, but you may set on one, it still alerts you to say that there is a possible opportunity to have a multi-take profit enabled on that account. Like I was saying a second ago, how does it work? First, you set up an account with Trigger.Trade and with a broker. So currently Bybit, Binance. Choose a strategy, either a DavidTech strategy or any other strategy you want to work with TradingView. And then often you set up following our step-by-step guides. And then often you can leave your computer and it will trigger the trades at the time when it occurs based on those settings. TradingView pricing, just a very quick overview of TradingView prices. To be able to use Trigger.Trade, you'll need to have a minimum of a pro account just to be able to have the active alerts to webhook URLs, which aren't included in the free plans. As you can see, I put in the little arrows in red, which David will probably say that my drawing quality is great, but it's just there for you, so you've got amount of alerts which are available for each account. So let's start off with setting up a Bybit account. So first we're going to go over to our Bybit accounts. I've already logged in just previously, just before this live stream, for security reasons. So we're going to be working on testnet to this evening just to start it off. First of all, what we're going to do is go into, sorry, my VPN's told me that I'm in France. So go back to England. There you go. Into English, so we're going to go over to USDT perps. I'm going to choose any coin you want out of the list here. This is one of the most important factors which you need to set up at the beginning. If this is not set, your trades will not be able to be triggered correctly, so you won't have a successful placing trades. So I'm just going to go over to example of BNB USD. When you've selected the coin pair which you're going to be using, click on this little clog up in the top right corner, and your position mode by default is one way. You need to switch it over to hedge mode like so, and click on confirm, and that will refresh it, and that's in your position mode from there, and it will be hedge mode. This is a setting that needs to be changed to each coin pair, and it doesn't do a global attribution for everybody. So you need to check if you're doing, for example, BTC, Ethereum, Solana, for example, Dodge. You need to set up each one of these with each coin pair as a position for itself. Next step after that, we're going to go in to generate our APIs. So let's just scroll down into API settings here. Click little confirm. So here what we do is click on the create new API code, self-generated API keys, API transaction. I'm going to use just like test Trigger.Trade. Trigger. Yeah. API permissions need to be set as read and write. And here we have two choices. Either we can select only IPs with permission or no IP restriction. What does that actually mean? Two things which will bring benefits to you is that if you select only IPs with permission are allowed to grant this access, that means it's more of a secure block. So that means if your APIs ever get switched over from somewhere else, unless they'll be using a Trigger.Trade software or web host or webhook, the orders will not be able to be placed unless they've got the exact same IP as what we are currently using. So to be able to obtain that IP, we're going to switch over to this channel here, so FAQ.Trigger.Trade. And we're just going to go and search for answers and write IP. The first one on the list, whitelist IP, click on that. Scroll a bit further down, and inside this grey box here, we're going to have the IP showing here. Copy that out. And then I'll then switch back to Bybit. So this one I'm going to give an IP permission only. By doing so, that also makes that your IP are permanently valid, that there is no expiry date. If you do not put an IP with it, your APIs get discontinued after 60 days at Bybit. So every 60 days, you'd have to reset your alerts. So by doing this, this will prevent you from having to reset an alert every 60 days as well. Scrolling down a bit here, now we've got to check our permissions. Depending on if this API is only going to be used for perpetuals or not, we can select derivatives APIs to trade, position on contracts, and order on contracts. That will enable all the factors that we need to use for that API to be able to trade on perpetual as USDT. Knowing that at Trigger.Trade we've got quite a few new updates coming, like spot, etc. So me personally, I just select everything and also just uncheck wallet, sub account, and withdrawals, and that gives you the API generated for future updates, at least if you want to use it for multiple days. Then also click on submit. Then we'll be going for an F2FA authentication, which needs to be set up. Without that, Bybit will not be able to generate your codes for you. And then after that, we would return back to the homepage where it will pop up with the new API generated. As you can see here on my screen, just to give you an example, see, I've got one IP with one API which hasn't got a IP enabled, so that one's expired, and the one with the IP is now a permanent date of expiration is permanent. So that means that API will never expire again unless I delete it. If anybody has any questions, please feel free just to jump in at any time, and we'll pause and go on.
Oh, good evening.
Hi there, Marco. How are you going?
I'm fine. Going better and better. Will, question. Yep. I think it's maybe good. It's a part what I always miss in the stream. Show the people what they need to set in properties from TradingView. So they know which amount will be traded. Is, for example, TradingView looking at the amount that is on your exchange, or need the people enter the amount that they want to trade and then the percentage from portfolio?
Okay, yeah, I'll go through that in a minute. No problem, Marco.
Okay, it's good.
I'll go for that.
I think that will make the video more complete.
Great idea. Thanks for your input.
Okay, you too.
So afterwards, we've gone over to setting up APIs. So now we've set up everything inside of Bybit. So now we can just leave that side for a while, and now we're going to go and jump straight into TradingView. So for part of TradingView, just let me move this page here. We just loaded up for a BTC, for example. We want to select an indicator. So first of all, we're going to go through and set up with a David Tech indicator. So let's just click on Own by Scripts only once we've added them from the David Tech indicator itself. A lot of people keep on saying to me that I like the dead zone too much. So tonight we're going to be changing a bit. Let's go for something different. Let's go for the vector candles. Second favorite one, sorry guys. So as soon as it's loaded, now we're going to start off with having a dashboard message from David Tech. with all of his factors showing up here. So currently, at the moment, with that being enabled, we can't actually have access to the backtester itself. We'll just include an AN percentage, because until we disable that message, no settings are actually fitted into the strategy itself. So let's go and select it. Here we go, open up the panel, and down here we're going to have hide message, read tooltip. Once when that's selected, as soon as we click on OK, it's going to go and refresh. As you can see, the little Y there is updating. Trading view doesn't like me again today. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. Of course, this one loads in the back up the dead zone. So just let me reopen that. So this week we've had a couple of issues on the inside of Trigger.Trade, which I'm just going to go over very quickly. A lot of members have been importing strategies which have been used and optimized by other users of their Discord. We have noticed there is one issue. If this box is checked, then that means, as you can, when you hover over it, it does say the alert will not work on this mode. So please be aware that if this box checked, your placeholders will not be fitted. So make sure that's open, that's unchecked there, like so, to be able to start running the bot. I'm just waiting for this to load to make sure everything runs all right very quickly, and also I should get on with how setting up a bot. There you go. So now you can see when we've removed the hide message available, so now it's actually giving us some settings. The indicator on the strategy is now a bit, just let me close that. Now we've got our entry longs and shorts here, our opens and exits, sorry, at the same time, based on the portfolio which is set up. Based on what Marco was saying a second ago, I think he meant the properties inside here for the capital currencies and order sizes, etc. These are based for backtesting results only, to be able to give you a coefficient on your backtesting results, to be able to give you the most accurate positionings available. The actual entry prices and exit prices will be entry prices, and portfolio amounts or fixed USDT amounts will be set up inside a Trigger.Trade, which will be going in the next step on how to set up. And so I'm just going to go down here very quickly and just scroll all the way down. This is not a strategy which has been optimized. It's just a default setting. So of course, all optimization is needed. Great plugin by David.Tech, the optimizer, which you might want to check out to be able to get better results for future development, for future trades. So we're just going to keep on scrolling down for a second, and we're going to look for an area. This area here, as you can see, David.Tech bot gateway. This is a void area, so no longer will use actually this part here. So we're just going to ignore it, make sure that this checkbox is unchecked. And what we're going to be interested by is the alerts itself. So for the alerts itself, now we're just going to need to go over to Trigger.Trade, as you can see just here, and log into there. Just put in the same display account as what you would normally see. Just checking on Discord, see if there's any questions one way of why it's loading. No, seems all good. Cool. So as soon as we logged into our Trigger.Trade, here we're going to go over to Bybit connector. And now we're going to go and start getting the settings that we're going to set up. So we're going to have our USDT or inversed. So choice is yours on that part. Tonight we're going to be using USDT perps. We got the APIs generated from earlier on, which we're going to need to use. So for testing examples, I'm just using a general API key just to give a test out. Here we have all of our settings for the orders types, so entry or market, entry on market or entry on limit orders. Exit orders, exactly the same, market or limits. Margin mode, here we have cross or isolated, so whether you want to be on a cross trade platform or if you want to be on isolated based on MARDA, based on your amounts set. And also we have here the different percentages, once again, about what Marco was saying a second ago. This will show you what areas, this is for the forward, this is for the actual physical trade, to be able to set either a fixed USDT amount, a percentage of balance, or if not, if you want to trade directly as a currency of like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, if you want to place orders for that amount. So if you want to buy 1 Bitcoin on that trade, etc., you can use absolute values. Here we're going to use a fixed amount of $20. Depending on the strategy, if the strategy has a multi-take profit or not, you can either enable it or disable it, entirely up to you. So that was, if it's on, it will set a 2 take profits and also a final take profit. If it's off, then you only have the final take profit, which is set. Here we have our leverage. So leverage can be fixed, or if not, as of V4 versions, you also have the option to use dynamic leverage. As there's a little message here, that means the dynamic leverage will be set via the strategy itself and not via the actual trigger on Trigger.Trade. Going down here, we have our encryptor. The encryptor is used for, as it says, it encrypts the API, your original API, which you can find as a function up on your left sidebar here. API encryptor, which will enable you to be able to encrypt your API generated by Bybit and gives an extra layer of security, like I said at the beginning of this video, on how things work. Moving on, so I went just a bit too fast. Here we have our advanced mode. So here you can cancel your order if not fulfilled within the time limits. Close existing order positions in new trade entry. That is entirely up to you if you wish it to close that position. If you've got a position that's open on BTC and all of a sudden the bot triggers another position, if you wish it to close it or to stack up on top of it, that's entirely up. That's also once again entirely up to you on that behalf. And also we have our Telegram ID here. So to obtain your Telegram ID, you need to go to this link down the bottom here, user info bot, open up Telegram, and also do /start, and it will return an ID for you. It's a 10-digit number. So 5110. It's 8 or 10, depending on when you subscribe to Telegram. And also exactly the same, you will also add a David Tech API bot and do /start as well. And also that will start logging you your messages from TradingView when the triggers are alerted and the trades are successful. It will show you a little message saying you've entered the entry price, what your leverage is, the hedge mode is enabled, and once again, if you have any errors as well, it will also send you an error message. These 3 functions here are all connected to Bybit as well. So all to receive all messages, errors, and successful trades. Errors only, successful only. And notifications is a little add-on that we've added for anybody who wants to backtest a strategy before actually launching a bot for the first time to connect to Bybit. That way you send you a notification and no actual trade to Bybit itself. Once when this area is filled out, we're just going to need to scroll back up to the top of the page and go to copy enter long. And we're going to switch back over to TradingView for a second. And we're going to go look for API entry long here. Select everything that's in that placeholder field here, like so. Post it off. And that's one area done. And we're just going to do exactly the same for the 3 other buttons, which are here. So exit long. Once again, we're going to look for API exit long. Copy everything there. And once again, we're going to do exactly the same with the shorts. And one last time, the exit shorts itself here as well. Once when all that's done, so here we have the alert for multiple take profits. This area here, I've been asked a couple of times this in the past couple of weeks as well, in the past couple of sessions. This area here is for any other third-party connector, not actually for trading Trigger.Trade. It will be used for any of the other third-party bot systems that are available inside the Discord as affiliates. Which you'll be able to find in other settings page. So afterwards, when that's done, we're just going to click on OK. Now we can see that our bot is where our strategy is refreshing, taking into account everything we've put in as trades. Once when that's done, we're just going to click on more, the little 3 dots here, add an alert as a vector candle. Here we're going to check our conditions are filled correctly. So a vector candle V4, that's the strategy, the name of the strategy you'll currently be using. We want to switch that over to order fills only. The alert message can be any kind of message you want. If you want to call it, I'm going to call mine Trigger.Trade, for example. But that is not mandatory. It's not taken into account by any value of the bot. It's just give you a pinpoint when the alert's triggered, so you know which alert's triggered. And now we're going to go into message. Inside the message, we're going to delete all the values which are available here and click on the question mark down the bottom and look for the area which is called placeholder with the strategy prefix. And we're going to be interested by this message here. So strategy order alert underscore message, copy that out and close this with a cross up here. Paste the message in so like so. We're going to make sure there's no spaces after the brackets or before. And if this is the first time you're setting up your alerts, you should have something that looks a bit like this. And so when you click on webhook URL, that's what's going to be interesting for us. This should be blank like so. Once again, we're going to switch back over to Trigger.Trade and go over to copy webhook URL and place that inside of the webhook itself and create. And that's how you set up a David Tech indicator. So as soon as it's available, there you go. It's now set up. All of the placeholders will be fitted by itself on the alert. So it will set the stop loss, take profits, and the coin pair, which is available on the trading view chart at that point. So if it's BTC, please note that anything that's changed after an alert is set up, that it does not save it automatically. So if you're going to change your SLs or take profits now to say a 6% here, that alert will not be triggered, and will still be triggered, but with its old values and not with the latest values which have been added. So you need to reset that each time you change anything inside of your settings itself. And that's how we'd set up a David Tech indicator. Has anybody got any questions for that part? Marco, did I go over what you asked for on the properties? Was that what you were sort of talking about?
Yes, correct. Maybe it's good to show some examples with the fixed amount and the other two options, so that people will have less questions about that.
Yeah. Oh, what I'll do is I'll just set up on my other computer here very quickly a trigger to post straight directly to Bybit, something that we can see what the differences are between examples.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that in 2 seconds, no problem. Aaron, I think you had a question as well, did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. So my question is mainly around like inverse perps. So obviously I know like I've set one up already, but then when it's trading on 1% of the account, but then I have put 10%, but it's just not doing it. And then as a result, my liquidation price is quite not where I want it to be, because obviously it's only 1%.
So you're trading on 10%, you're setting 1%.
Yeah.
Can I get you to post me by a DM your trading view log, and I'll have a look at it as soon as we finish with this, and we can go on to one-on-one if you want and have a look at it together.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks. So
for Marco, let's have a look here quickly. Testnet.bybit. Just going to open up this page here. So for anybody that's got questions about, like Marco just said a minute ago, for the fixed amounts and percentage amounts of portfolio, if we'd be trading with a fixed amount of $20 on the trade, then we will get an open position. 2 seconds. I'm just loading the computer. There you go. So that one was an Ethereum, for example. We would have our prices and stop losses being set, as you can see, so underneath here, like so. So there I'm just trading a quantity on it. I'm not actually trading any fixed amount, just launched a bot just to show you the example how it would look when you're trading. If you were trading, for example, a fixed amount inside of the bot, it would have the position size which would enter at, so say $20, then you'd have $20 enter your position margin itself. If you had it set at 10% of your margin of $1,000, then it would set a position margin at $100 itself. Multiply it by the leverage, of course, which is taken into account for you, 15x. And also an absolute value, once again, is if you're trading, if you're asking it to trade for one Bitcoin, so you take the standard price of the Bitcoin at the moment of trade and enter in a position at that point. So say a Bitcoin was at 27,000, then it would enter a liquidity at 26,000 on that entry, and with its leverage taken into account as well with it. So your positions, you can always keep an eye on just down here with it as well.
I have a question. In this bot and the previous ones, if you use fixed amount, it usually takes less than 90% of what you set, in my experience.
If you're using a fixed amount, what it does is it goes away, checks what the liquidity fees are, and deducts that to be able to keep a margin to cover your liquidity fees in case of liquidation, to not be able to miss any other trades. So if you had like 5 positions which were going to open, and they were, say you had $100 on your account, each trade was $20 each, so it opens up 5 positions, it will go in and get $20 minus the liquidity fees and enter at that point. We are actually updating that as well. We'll be adding a 4th option for USDT positions, which will be without encountering the liquidation fees at the moment, but just beta testing it at the moment.
That's really counterintuitive to say it's a fixed amount, should be fixed to whatever you set.
The only reason is because with algo trading, if you've got, say if you've got 10 different indicators set up at the same time and entering trades, if one of them hits a liquidity and couldn't cover those fees, then often you'll be losing on the other 5 bots, which wouldn't be able to trigger, because if you got, say, $20, your $20 minus liquidity for commission fees wouldn't be covered, so then often you would be losing on those other bots.
Yeah, but the purpose of using a fixed amount is that, like, one reason would be so you're not hitting liquidity of the coin exchange itself. Like, if you're on BTC, you don't want to go over 200,000, like, ever. So you would never want to use percent of account. Another reason would be, like, you have a sub account or whatever, and you're just using a small part of it anyway. So you don't care about fees and margins and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. That's why we are looking into adding the, like I said a second ago, it's actually a beta at the moment. It was added 2 days ago into our beta community for adding a fixed amount. So there'll be 2 choices. You'll have either USDT fixed minus commission, or USDT fixed with taking the account that you might not have the possibility to have all of your bots traded, because if it hits a liquidity fee over what your bot ground is, so if you've got $20 and it'll cost you 21, and you've got $100 on that account, there is that $1 extra, which will be blocking the 5th trade if I'm clear enough on what I just said there.
I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me, because you could lose and then you're going to go down to $19 anyway, and then you're back to square one.
Yeah, it was more designed on the idea of having a trader for a bot set up, which was going to trade 100% of your liquid or what was available on that account, and to not prevent it from doing it. Because when we started off, we did start with a bot which actually traded fixed the rounded, not the rounded amount, the actual designed amount, and so it was going to like trade for, like you said, for $100, for example, on a $100 account, it would enter that trade. If it was going to hit your liquidity fee, it would stop out just before actually hitting it, because if not, it wouldn't be able to cover those fees. So depending on what trade that user's actually doing, if he's trading 100% with 100% margin. So
okay, so the current setting won't be updated; it'll be a new setting with this.
Yep, there'll be a new setting. There'll be a new setting on it for the with the actual fixed amounts around.
Nobody has to worry that their margin amount's going to change overnight. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Is there any other questions before I move on to setting up other strategy bot?
Yes, Will. I saw last week a message from you that you were going to look to stop loss to entry because the people had problems with it. Can you give an update about that?
Yep, stop loss on entry has been sorted, running fine. I mean, I've been having tests all week throughout the week with it. Set on whether they're entry orders or limit orders, then the stop loss is set correctly. I think the message which you're talking about wasn't actually the stop loss on entry. I think it was actually the move to break even, wasn't it? Which I published.
Oh, sorry. I think that's indeed the case, yes.
Yeah. Move to break even. We're currently looking on that part with David at the moment on how to integrate. We got at Trigger.Trade, we've got one of our, as you know, Marco, you've been here since the beginning. We've got one goal is not to save APIs, and we don't want to trail all of your liquidities, all your accounts. We don't want to save any APIs or anything. To like train stop loss and move to break even means we'd have to pinpoint currently at the current status, we would have to pinpoint a log to be able to trace those orders. Which is one thing that we don't actually want to have, the responsibility of storing API keys and secret keys on a database anyway, because we all know what internet's like. So we are looking into it to try and create, we're creating at the moment a dynamic version of the boilerplate which will be added, which will take that into account, which will on alerts will be able to change the SL and TPs.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That will be in a future update. It's not actually on it hasn't even hit the in-house beta testing yet. So as soon as it be launched for beta, I'll keep you updated. No problem on that part.
Thank you very much.
This is more for David, not so much for William. Once I got used to the that ignoring the wick and sending the exit signals and stuff, it's all fine doing that from the strategy. I think the tooltips could be longer though, and maybe list the prerequisites maybe of other options you need to turn on, because it's a bit light for most people.
Hi, Bad. Nice to see you again. How are you going?
I'm in Peru. I'm 15 hours offset from where I usually am. That's why.
Wow. Yeah, there must be some jet lag.
I've been here for a while.
Oh, you've been there for a while, I suppose. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice to see you back. Yes, I agree with the tooltips. I didn't do the best of jobs with version 5 as I put in message. Version 4, sorry, as I put in a message this week. I'm trying to, as you may have seen, do lots and lots of videos because they keep getting lost inside of Discord, which I'm putting into a teachable course, so that goes through all of the settings, what they do one by one in lots of detail, as much detail as I possibly can, as it explains to everybody. As for the tooltips, I'm trying to improve on them as well, to give better explanations to everybody. I think that's what you meant. Is that right?
Yeah. It's just UX perspective. Like, I always favor trying to bundle the doco with the app instead of having a separate doco, which is just there's maintainability, and then there's like people actually have to know about it and they have to find it and blah blah blah, and they have to have the patience for it. Whereas
Totally agree.
Right,
I didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job of explaining things in the last one.
It's a process. Like it's way better than it used to be, and it's evolution. It's not good or bad.
No. No. I don't think that. It's just that I know.
I like the idea of having it right there on the settings, so then people have no excuse. Like, they don't have to ask about it anymore.
Absolutely, I do agree. And Marco has been helping me by telling me off when I get things wrong with the tooltips. And no, he's been helping me honestly with the tooltips in the previous version, and this version, which I'm working on at the moment, is another improvement on the things. I've also been using ChatGPT to improve my explaining of each and every part of them in a better way.
You're going to get married to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So version 5 will be better, David?
Yes, yeah, I've sort of decided to not give up on version 4, but I've decided to do like a Windows sort of. We're going to jump onto the next version because I didn't do a very good job. It's not that there's anything wrong with the boilerplate. It's just that the update took me ages to do, and the like you said, the tooltips weren't great and all of that. So I've just gone back, and also things like it being extremely slow for the optimization, which I've extremely worked a heck of a lot on to make it a lot faster, so that when you're using the optimizer, you can optimize it, even though you do have to use the optimizer like checkbox. It is a lot faster than what it was to optimize, so we can go back and optimize them before. Also, as you know, Mark, I've been working extremely hard on the optimizer to make it better, so that we can go back to optimizing them and finding the best settings.
To start new competitions about it. With it.
Yes, it would be good. Yeah, it's nice to have the optimizer strategies back inside of Discord, improving on that as well, so that we can have a better description of each and every Excel spreadsheet with like the Sharp ratio and everything, just in very much like I just said, just having everything so you can see them in one glance, so you can see what the settings are that somebody else may have optimized for. So.
Yes, but I prefer to clean up the channel and only show the David Tech strategies.
A fantastic idea as well. I can do that. I was thinking of having maybe 2 channels, maybe one with other strategies, because they are sometimes quite hard to find on TradingView afterwards. The reason I'd like to keep it myself is because I do use it a lot for inspiration and finding other like new strategies for us guys. There's been quite a few things like the McGinley and things like that I've found thanks to other people. So I'd like to try and continue to keep those results for us as a group, so we can find more inspiration.
Yes, that's very good. And it will be better if we get an overview in Excel or spreadsheet, so we can more easily filter the results and eventually in a column a link to the settings. That will make it much more easier. Now it's always difficult to search in the strategy in the channel for great settings. For example, I looked for the works and there was only one result, unfortunately. But yeah, it will be great when we get an overview, what you said, to put it, for example, in several databases.
Yes, it'll be nice to be able to separate them out. Be nice to, like I said, I think I said to you sometime back, maybe create a newsletter or something where I create some kind of Python script that will filter out the results of the week, and send maybe an automatic newsletter to everybody with the best results. Maybe I thought, because we had a website before where we would search for them, search through them, but it didn't work. Website where the website empties itself out at the end of the week and restarts, so that we can just go through maybe and find the best settings during the week, and then it'll be as something that wouldn't be too slow as such.
Yes, you can then keep 2 databases, for example, with non-David Tech strategies and David Tech strategies, and clean up, for example, results with too big drawdown, too low Sharp ratio. Then the database will not so big as before.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, very much like the wallet inside of David AI. We could maybe create David a wallet where we keep a certain sharp ratio or max drawdown and things like that.
Yes, I think it's very important to do that.
Yes, yeah,
And therefore, I also said I really prefer that you can code something to use the old results and only check settings with specific criteria.
yes.
But yeah, you said it's difficult to do.
It's going to be hard for me to import the old settings into because there's so much of an evolution between the different indicators. But if we find a really good setting, maybe I can find some way of converting it using a converter, or we can just manually put them in one by one if it's really worth the time of putting them in. That'd be something. I have got access still to the old database, so with all of the results on it. So I just need to work out a way of using it as such to all of our advantage.
Yeah, I think it's great when you use Matt or whoever clean up the database and code something and let the bot check all the results, upload, download results. I don't know if it's possible. It will be time consuming or take a long time, but then we can get very great settings probably for a lot of strategies.
Absolutely. It's something that's been in the back of my mind for a long time. Well, since we started trying to do it a while ago. Like you said, I think the only way to do it is to prioritize certain criteria before it ends up inside of a database, instead of trying to put absolutely everything into a database.
Yes,
because that just
absolutely. Yes, because else you must do probably millions of results. That's not possible. So only with, for example, the sharp ratio above 0.9, for example, or be above 1, and delete everything, or don't use the rest for checking.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've got a couple of updates for the optimizer this week and things like that. Maybe we can do sort of like I can sort of, I don't know, put some kind of brainstorming together so we can all sort of come up with the ideas of how we can make this work. I'll send you a couple of messages anyway, Marco, about how you see it as working as well, because you are the expert in the optimizer, and I'm always picking your brain. But
I like it.
But yes, that's all right then, as long as you don't mind. But it's something that I want to put into the tools of the David Tech community, because I think it's important. That's why I brought the channel back. So hopefully we'll be able to find a solution for it.
Okay, that will be great. Thank you.
Cool. Sorry, Will, leave it back over to you, mate.
Yeah, sorry, Will.
No problem at all. I mean, don't worry, I'll pick Marco's brain as well for the Trigger.Trade.
Yeah.
Marco's on every plan. So anyway, let's get on. Second part of the evening, we're going to be setting up other setting bots, so other strategies. Just let me load up Trading View currently very quickly. So we've been over David Tech. Let's have a look. So let's go for a view match true this evening. So once again, for any indicator which you want to set up, as of the moment it's a strategy, you can just go and click on more button here. Now you can go and add, excuse me, an alert. So on any, for example, the cipher B from Divergence, here you can big circle, green circle. So here's his options inside of that variable of the dot, which is available from the alert from the strategy from ViewManchu. So if I was to go for him to set a red circle, so we're going to sell. This time we're going to go to David Tech to Trigger.Trade, and instead of being inside of David Tech strategies, we're just going to go into other strategy. Here, once again, we're just going to have to fill out our APIs and secret keys. We're going to need to choose the coin pair that we want to trade. So currently we're on the BTC account, so BTC USDT. Here we're going to for custom users and entry or exit accounts. Margin once again, so that's the same as using the Davidtech strategy as well. And now we're just going to add in our amount, set our leverage as well. And here now, this time we've got some extra fields which we can fit in. So if we want to take a stop loss on that order, or if we'll take profit, entirely up to you, entirely up to us. I'm going to set with a 5%, change it to 7% there, and a take profit of 7% as well. And once again, we've got the Telegram bot. We've also got some DCA mesh as well, which we've added on for static bots, for other setting bots. Whether we want conditional pyramiding or pyramiding in total, entirely up to us, what kind of settings you want. The Telegram ID, once again, which is great for having the options to be able to see. I keep on insisting on that, but it's a great tool to have on in your mobile phone or tablet, just to be able to keep an eye on how your orders are tracking through. And once again, we're just going to go, so we said we were doing a short. So we're going to go and copy out, enter the short message. And here, inside of our alerts, this time we're going to remove the message itself from here and paste in just the code which was generated from the Trigger.Trade interface. Go to notifications, and once again, go back here to Trigger.Trade and copy a webhook URL. Side note, the TradingView does keep in account the webhook URL as of the moment when it's registered from the first time onwards. So you only have to do this once, and also just leave it as webhook. It'll be the same unless you change it throughout the period that you're using Trigger.Trade. Create the alert. And there you go. That's how simple it is to be able to set up another settings with Trigger.Trade. So there we've entered the short. So if we wanted to enter a long trade, we'd do exactly the same. Just go and set up an alert on it. And this time we just take the enter long. So this time we're going to go for the green bar, big green circle for a buy option, and enter that like so. As you can see, it's written description open long position, and the other one was written open close position on this message itself here. Create it. Once when we've checked our notifications are set correctly, and create. As you can see, we've also got a green little icon which shows up here to say that our code it will be accepted by TradingView, and it will be transferred correctly. And that's how we got a buy open, buy short, and a buy long, which is set up. Do note that the things that they've been fitted with take profits and stop losses, you don't have to have the close entries, but you won't receive a notification from Telegram to say when the entry has taken its stop loss or taken its profit if you do not enter these ones here. They're more for other settings with other strategies which have got placeholders fitted already as well for you. Just on the side note as indication. And that's how we set up a static bot with Trigger.Trade. Another settings bot. Very simple. I think it's quite simple. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to jump in and ask. If anybody's got any other strategies they want to see how to set up an open source strategy, which would like to see how to set up a static bot, another settings bot with Trigger.Trade, feel free. Just clicking YouTube. No, that's fine. No. And that will be, unless anybody's got any questions, that will be it from me for this evening. And I'll be in
Thank you, William.
for a little while. So if anybody's got any questions afterwards.
Got one question. It's more for David. It's not more of an idea, right? So, you know, obviously we're looking at general like trading strategies, but what if we was to look at like on-chain data and like possibly use that?
I like that idea. Yeah, I'm currently talking with Vlad at the moment. We're talking to a couple of companies about acquiring the on-chain data for back testing and things like that. I'm trying to build some tools very much like. Let me just pull up my notes here because I don't want to throw names out there. Let me just have a look here on chained. Right. So my idea is there's High Block Capital. I don't know if you know that one. High Block Capital, looking for them as well, and also Glassnode. Those kind of things. I had an idea were to try and build some kind of like AI, if you will, for machine learning, using on-chain data from places like Glassnode, or even acquiring it ourselves. It's going to take a bit of time, but I certainly am interested in building something. Have you got any references or ideas that I might be able to look at?
No, probably on the same boat as you. But I mean, I've seen this project recently, and it's basically an AI project, and then it's kind of talking about that, like using on-chain data about it. It's not out or anything, but they've put the idea out there, so it's kind of why.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting. It was something. There's one call. I don't know if I've got it here. Let me have a look. There's one that I talked about a year ago. They're closed source and everything, but we've got quite a big following. I can't remember what the name. No. It was. I can't remember. There was token metrics, which use a lot of on-chain data as well. I think they're quite pricey as a project, but they use machine learning to come up with some numbers and give you a prediction on what could happen thanks to on-chain data. And it was something that I wanted to kind of build with the community. So yes, I'm definitely up for that, and I definitely would like to start building something around that.
Nice, sounds good.
Yeah, cool. I'll keep you posted. I'll tell you what, any ideas that come up, and if you do come across any websites that look interesting that we can sort of inspire some ideas, if you don't mind popping them across to me.
Yeah. I'll try and think. I can't remember the name of the one I found, but I'll have a look.
Okay, cool.
Fantastic.
I'll be messaging you every day, Aaron, until you find it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, this Chat GPT and all of this new AI stuff has certainly brought in lots of new ideas inside of GitHub, loads of new open source, loads of people are getting much more interested into crypto trading with AI, even if it's nothing really to do with the language model of Chat GPT. It's just brought a lot more interest into the game, so it's cool. Looking forward to seeing some really cool open source projects that we can maybe get involved in. Especially with, sorry.
No, go on, Dave, no problem.
No, I was just saying, especially with the amount of data that as crypto traders that we have, thanks to on-chain data, something that's not available in other markets. So we should be able to get maybe our edge thanks to that. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I thought that Vlad was not there, so I totally forgot about it. But just reminding very quickly everybody for the David Tech giveaway happening this month. So remember to check it out. I'll just post the message in the link inside of the channel here, and feel free to get back to us for any questions based on Trigger.Trade.
Just noticed that Vlad written a new iPhone 14.
Yeah.
No, you've got my old one.
Thanks everybody for joining. Wish you all a great evening, and I'll be in general chat if anybody's got any questions for the next couple of hours. So feel free to DM me. Aaron, if you want us to check over for the inverse together in a minute, quite happily do that this evening if you're free. If not, message over to me.
Yeah, sounds good. I've messaged you already, I think. So.
Okay, cool. I'll get on with having a look at that then.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, William. Take care, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Fred, mate. Cheers.